For those of you who don't know, my name is Anthony Venture, and over the past 5 years, I've been able to accumulate well over 1 million credit card points, which has pretty much transformed my entire life, going from staying at Roadway Inns and Days Inns, all the way to Thompson Hyatts and Waldorf Astorias. And while accumulating well over 1 million credit card points without referrals, mind you, might seem easy and very cool, but it wasn't also without heartache and a lot of mistakes. So that's why in this video, I want to go over every single mistake, the top 11 mistakes that I've made in the credit card game for the last 5 years, so this way you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. So it's a bit of a long one, but I guarantee you if you stay all the way to the end, you will probably not have to repeat one of the mistakes that I did. So let's get started, starting off with number 1. So starting out with the first mistake I've ever made, which is a fairly easy one to kind of make fun of me for, which is number 1 with the Amex Platinum card, right? Not only did I get this card fairly early, right? I mentioned in a couple videos like, oh yeah, we got the Platinum card way too early. I've had this card for maybe 3 or 4 years now, and basically I've only started to, at least now, get some true value from it, from like lounges and all the different credits and whatnot, and I was merely maybe breaking even or probably losing a little bit of money every single year on this card up until recently. One of those reasons was the airline incidental fee credit, what it used to be called, so I guess it's just airline fee credit now. $200 every single year that I only was able to reap the benefit for 1 year, and it wasn't even the full amount. It was check bags on a JetBlue flight, I think to Florida at some point, and it was about $140 total, I think $70 per check bag. $140, meanwhile, I've gotten maybe $600 to maybe $800 worth of airline fee credits over the last 3 or 4 years of holding this card that I've never reaped the benefits for. And it's one of my biggest mistakes because I didn't know for so many years that I could just do maybe United Travel Bank, right? And just spend the money through there and have it just, build up like most people are doing. Or, booking a flight that's under $200, $150, what have you, for certain airlines, and that'll code towards the airline incidental fee credit. I didn't realize that, right? So I lost all that money over that time. So if you're somebody that wants to get the Platinum card, one, make sure you can use that airline incidental fee credit. And if you can't, that is a big enough amount every single year that should actually maybe dissuade you from getting the Platinum card if you're thinking about it. But nonetheless, the next one on that same vein, and I'm going to put these all on the screen one by one as we go, is all the other credits. There have been times where I almost missed the FHR credit, hotel credit, I just call it FHR, and the Saks on Fifth credit. Every other credit I've been able to pretty much use, but those two specifically sometimes are ones that I'll forget to use, or I have forgotten to use in the past few years when I wasn't traveling as much as I am now. So there have been times where I just, maybe waited till December 25th or 26th, around Christmas time, and I'm like, oh my God, since you get it every calendar year, if you don't book the FHR credit by, and it doesn't post by January 1st, which is an important metric, then you will lose that credit for the previous year. So I remember like last year, I was like around 26, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to find a property. Lo and behold, I ended up finding, I believe that was the most recent one. Actually, this happened again recently, which was the Savannah, Georgia Thompson property FHR. Also happened again previous years at the Ballantyne in Charlotte. And the reason I realize this is a mistake, and what I want to, implore to you guys, whatever, is that, remember, if you were to book the FHR credit, hotel credit, on, say, December 30th, right? Maybe you have an extra day in the year. It's very possible and very likely, and almost like 100% likely, that that charge will not post until January 1st, January 2nd, something like that. And if it does post, not charge, when it gets posted and fully out of pending on the 1st and the 2nd, that is going to make it look like you are charged, or at least you paid for it and are eligible for the credit for the following year, and you just forwent your previous year's credit. So don't be like me all those other years. Make sure you're booking that ahead of time, not close to the end of December, but at least if you book around the 26th, usually that's enough time for it to go out of pending, to post, and then you'll be covered. So don't wait too long. Same with the Saks Fifth credit, once every 6 months. So, January to July and July to December, something like that. Make sure that you're using that Saks credit, and again, it still works on the posting, not the pending. Another thing, outside of the Amex Platinum card, is actually technically Amex Gold card, but it's not related. During 2020, when we were all locked down and I was in New York, we were locked down for like at least a couple of months, I believe, maybe a little bit more. And during that time, everyone was kind of afraid to go out to, supermarkets and to buy food or even to cook. So a lot of the meals that we had during that couple of month period were via Grubhub and via these apps that we had credits towards anyways with our credit cards. But what ended up happening was over time, because I had built up so many Amex points in a short amount of time from hitting welcome offers from buying all this food, and I didn't really have any money coming in because our jobs were, shut down. I essentially every now and again would pay with my Amex points for Grubhub purchases. That's right. I feel bad about it too. Like as if the meal that we just got was $20. I would say, all right, let me use maybe what is it, 3,000 Amex points to pay that bill. Very, very like horrible. That's not economical whatsoever. Like that 3,000, maybe not lit on fire. Depends how much money you have and if it's worth it to you for that. But valuing that at like 0.6 cents per point is so low, so ridiculous. And I had the money to pay for the $20. I was just like, I felt better paying via the points for that. But I realized in retrospect, feeling good, it doesn't necessarily mean it is good. And and nowadays absolutely would never ever redeem it unless like for some reason it was my last dime. But you shouldn't even be ordering from Grubhub if it's your last dime anyway. Just cook. But I'm just telling you a mistake I made at that time, and it wasn't a lot. Like it was maybe a total of $150, so I maybe used like or maybe $100, maybe I used like 12,000 Amex points. But again, that's a lot of Amex points to part with for like $100 in Grubhub meals. Like that's so stupid. So that is another mistake that I have done, and I urge you not to make as well. Is don't use your Amex points for Grubhub. Another thing is, I recently I didn't actually mention this to anybody, but I was getting nervous because I had a Hawaii flight coming up, and I realized I hadn't booked the Delta Comfort, right? I booked via Delta, and I didn't book Delta Comfort Plus, and I was like, this will be an 11-hour flight. I want my wife to be comfortable. It's going abroad. It's the longest flight. I want it to be in a good spot. I don't want it to just be main cabin. So I was kind of scrambling, and it was kind of getting later and closer to the dates, and I decided like, okay, I don't have enough Delta Sky miles. I don't have cash to pay for this upgrade. Just in a snap judgment, which here's one thing about me. Anytime I've made any decision on a snap judgment, always was wrong. Always was wrong. 100% of the time, it was always freaking wrong. And I know this about myself. So from now on, since I've learned that, I've made sure that all of my decisions were at least thought of a few days or a few weeks after I had that initial thought. Right? But this time in particular, I couldn't wait. And I realized too late. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do? So I had 280,000 Amex points. I said, okay, cool. I transferred 40,000 Amex points to Delta, which no one recommends you do. I bought the Comfort Plus, the upgrade, and at first I was like, oh, this feels good. I did it. I don't care about the 40K points, whatever. And remember what I said about feeling good. Sure enough, I had issues. The award availability wasn't there on the Hyatt hotel I was booking out there. And now we're no longer going to Hawaii for that reason. And I was too late. Well, I wasn't too late on the booking because I had to wait till all my Chase Inc. welcome offers actually posted. And by the time I had the points, the hotel was already booked out for those dates. So now I either have to cancel the flight or just move it to a much later date. So Hawaii is not going to happen for another, who knows, maybe 6 months, something like that. But I have other stays in between, so I'm not too bummed about it. But now I have the points, all of it ready to book that stay for when I'm ready. Okay, cool. So that's one of my mistakes is don't make a snap judgment, and this goes for anything in life, not just credit card points and miles, but a job promotion, any of these different things that you're going to be doing in life. Snap judgments, at least for me, never work out. Make sure they're well thought of, and then this way you could actually hold that decision as your own decision, right? And you could sit better with it because you thought on it. And also just don't, I didn't want to move my Amex points to Delta. I would be much better suited with cashing out that for $440 and booking another Waldorf Astoria in DC, right? Like that would be well more worth it to me than what I used them for initially. But my heart was right in the right place at the initial time. But what can you do? Another thing, are we having fun? We having fun so far? Stream of consciousness. I like this. I'm feeling good. These are all my mistakes, baby. Put them out into the world. Another thing. Oh, again a snap judgment. remember the time where I was going crazy on live streams because Constantino's points, you guys know I love him. We had on the stream a couple times. He had all of his Amex accounts completely canceled, right? He became, well, yeah, not black. He was completely canceled on all of his cards because of some stuff that was happening with authorized users, a whole big thing. But he had over 100,000 Amex points that all got wiped away and he never got them back. That scared me. And it really scared me. And if you guys watched my streams from those times 8 months ago, you heard it like, oh man. For some reason, I just thought like, okay, Amex is tapering. There's pop-up jail. There's all these different signs. I was like, what if Amex starts noticing like all of the cards that I've gotten over the years from maybe the welcome offers and maybe stopped using them over the years? Who really knows? Even though Amex cards I still always used, but I was just worried, right? And it was an emotional time, a quick emotional time. And once again, with the snap judgment, I said, okay, I at the time had 430,000 Amex points that I got from all of my welcome offers over the years. So I decided it would be a good idea because I had heard that Air France was a good airline for international travel, what have you. So this way I can guarantee some international stays in the future, and I was holding and banking my Amex points for international stays in the future. Again, snap judgment. I got emotional. I said, I'm going to move 150,000 points. That's right, like a third. 150,000 points over to Air France. So this way I know I'm secured and they can't take those points away from me. So I moved them over to Air France. And now they're locked there for, forever. I think they actually expire in 2 years. And maybe if you use them, they don't. So luckily, I ended up using that for that Hawaii flight. And that ended up working out, fortunately. But had that not have worked out, I may have never been able to use them because traveling, sometimes you just don't know when you're going to do things. And or if they expire, and or, maybe the taxes and fees on the flights via Air France are way higher than something like Virgin Atlantic or any of these other airlines you could possibly use to go abroad. It was a not well thought out decision. It was emotional and it was a snap judgment. And like I said, always a wrong decision. However, I do like the mantra of, successful people don't make the right decisions, they make the decisions right. So no matter what I do, I end up making it. You can justify anything in your mind, right? You can justify anything that you do, but I still consider it a mistake because of it was an emotional and snap judgment decision that I made. So again, I urge you and implore you guys, if you have those emotions, just sit for a second, sleep on it, have a good state of mind, and then move on and decide going forward. Nothing's gonna happen in 2 seconds, but that it's all FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Number 6, the lowest subs ever. So welcome offers, the lowest welcome offers ever on the gold and the platinum card. So again, like I mentioned, when we were locked down during 2020, I didn't have anything to do other than dabble in the stock market and learn more about credit cards. So I did both. And, both for better or for worse in both worlds. But what I did was, in the span of, I think a year, I ended up getting the Amex Gold, the Amex Green, and the Amex Platinum card. All within, a year, maybe, I forget, maybe 12 months, 14 months, something like that. So during that time, again, since I was bored, since we had so much spend from eating out and doing all these things when we were locked down, I said, this is a perfect time to hit welcome offers, which I was right about. But what I was kind of wrong about was that the timing of things. Now, I remember in the past seeing Amex Platinum welcome offers for 100,000. I think around that time was the highest. I remember 100,000 being the highest. Nowadays, forget it, 150, 175,000, who knows. Amex Gold, 75K, 90K, something like that. Amex Green, yeah, again, maybe 60K was the highest, something like that. I quite literally got the lowest welcome offers that you guys in the space now have probably ever seen, and it's laughable. Okay, so let's just go through it. The Amex Gold was the first one, and I got, I believe, was 45,000. If I remember at the time, I think it was 45,000 Amex points for $4,000 worth of spend. That's half of what's standard nowadays. Now everyone's getting 90K bonuses and whatnot. 90K welcome offers and whatnot. So I got half of what the high is now. And had I thought about it or researched a little bit, I probably would have waited. Maybe it was valuable for how the amount of time that I've had it. And I like having the 4 years worth of experience now holding these cards. But I probably could have waited and got way more money on the welcome offer. Amex Platinum card. You guys have never even seen an offer this low. 60,000 on the Amex Platinum card. Yes, and it was for $5,000 worth to spend, and the annual fee was $550. So 60K, so about 40% lower than the high at that time, which I guess at the time not too bad, but just in retrospect, knowing that I should have gotten the Platinum card like yesterday instead of 4 years ago, because now I'm starting to use it, I would be sitting on, an extra 100,000 points basically, 150K versus my 60K back then. Like, that's sad. The green card, however, I think was my best one, oddly enough. I know, like, the high now is 60K. The past, it used to be, I think it might have even been 15K or 30K at the time, something like that, like back in 2020. I can't remember, but I think I got 45K. So I think it was like elevated. It was like instead of 30, it was 45K. So I thought that was pretty good. So I got decent welcome offer on the green card, which, all right, not too bad. And that card's been so, actually, matter of fact, I have it right here. Funnily enough, let me see all the different iterations. So that's my green card that has since been canceled, and I'm going to be actually recording maybe a video after this on that. Cool, almost through. Actually, no, we're not. We're 7. Number 7. Here's another mistake that I made, and you guys will appreciate this one, I think. Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, getting the card wasn't a mistake. I appreciate that card for what it is, and it's actually given me a lot of value over the years, and I think people sleep on at least the welcome offer, sleep on the card a little bit. I'll be doing a video on it, but here's what happened, right? Let me stop rambling. There was a time where I was getting engaged to my wife, and what I did was I decided, okay, the ring is X amount of dollars, and I need cards to put the ring on so I can get the welcome offers, because I'm not just going to spend money and get nothing back in return. I mean, what am I? So what did I do? I signed up for the Chase Sapphire Preferred in-branch offer in 2020, or no, 2021. It was 100K and a waived annual fee for the first year. Awesome. So what I did was I put the card on that ring. Cool. Put the ring on that card. Got the 100K welcome offer. Cool. So then it came time to actually propose. And we went to Cape May, New Jersey, which is her favorite place in the entire world. But if you know Cape May, New Jersey, exit 0 in New Jersey, there are no hotels, essentially. There's a bunch of, I think there's a few, like Hiltons and maybe Marriott's, I'm not sure. But at the time, I wasn't actually fully in, I guess I was in the points of miles game, but I don't know if I even started. I think I just started accumulating Hilton points, so I don't think I had any at that time. So I was still actually booking Airbnbs. One in particular happened to be really nice. I think it was right across the street from a vineyard, what have you. But what I ended up doing was I realized, like, Chase at that time, and I think it was like $750 for the stay. And it was nice and whatever, it was romantic, and it was like a whole house basically, $750. So what I did was I realized Chase actually had a multiplier. It was like, oh, pay yourself back 1.25 cents per point for Airbnb purchases. What did I do? Yeah, I cashed out 60,000 of those 100K points for this Airbnb stay for the $750. Yeah, I know. Those 60,000 points quite literally could get me now, who knows? I mean, 4 nights in a Thompson, the Thompson in DC that I just stayed in, that's 4 nights at a really, luxurious property, a few nights abroad in some of these hotels. Like there's some nice, Hyatt stays that you could possibly book. Before we lost small luxury hotels, I could have booked the Palazzo Manfredi, the one right outside the Coliseum, for 2 nights with 60,000 points. Yeah. But I paid for the Airbnb, which is $750. Do I regret it? Nah. Just knowing what I know now about Hyatt, yeah, I could have got way more value out of that. Like, that $700 could have been like $3,000 in Hyatt value. Who knows? So do I regret it? No. Is it a mistake? Yes. But, and yes, it was a good, it was a good time. Okay. Number 8, Amex checking account. You guys know this happened recently. Friggin' the Amex checking account, right? You sign up for an Amex business checking account. You can deposit $5,000 and make 5 qualifying transactions. Easy stuff, right? Easy stuff to do. And in return, you'll get between 30 and like 70,000 membership award points, right? Amex points. It was a good deal. Well, I procrastinate a lot of things. I forget a lot of things, and that's why I have so many different things in my calendar. I have to write everything down. It's because I forget so much. that I waited till the last second, literally the last day, deposited the money, didn't clear until 2 days from then to when the offer expired, and I now lost out on my whatever it was. I think it was 30K points on that Amex checking account. Why did I wait till last second? It was the easiest thing to do. They gave me 30 days to do it. I think they gave me a full 30 days to deposit that money, and I waited till the 30th day. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Like, when you have things to do, just go and do them. So that's another mistake. What are you doing waiting for things? Okay, you have this awesome bonus that you can possibly get from this checking account. Just do it. Sign up for it and do it immediately. So I probably under a new business will sign up again to get my another 30,000 points, another 50,000 points, because that's real money. So don't wait till the last second is the moral of that story. Number 9, kind of my fault, kind of not my fault, but you guys know that one of my first credit cards is the Capital One secured card. I put down a deposit of $49, got a credit line of $200, and this way I was able to start building my credit. That was how I started, and that's how I got to this point today. Now I had that card for 4 years, right? 5 years actually, and that deposit is supposed to come back to you. I never even remembered to ask for that $49 back. And that's that's money. That's a restaurant that you can go to. That's good money. And I just never thought to ask for it again. I just said, oh, whatever. And then I realized like last year, after 5 years, it's like, oh wait, I have 15 different credit cards now. I said, oh wait, what about my deposit? Did I ever get that back? And I looked it up and I never did. So I eventually led to ask about it, and then, kind of just luckily, I think it was like eligible in the system at that time. But, all those years I could have asked for it. Maybe it could have happened, maybe it couldn't. I also know that it wasn't necessarily my fault because it was kind of just lucky my timing, because my wife, who was also had the card for the same amount of time, they still are keeping her $49 deposit, and we asked for it and they said, oh, it's just based on the algorithm, based on, the system of when it says we're eligible to give it back to you. So I don't really know. So the moral of that story is, I don't know, just ask for it. Maybe it'll be lucky timing, but even then, maybe just consider it gone until they give it to you. I don't really know, but it seems like even if you ask for it, it doesn't even matter. Number 10, not reevaluating my annual fees often enough. So like I said, the Amex Platinum card, I should have got it yesterday, not 4 years ago. I should have every single year, and I think it's a good practice every year to reevaluate each card and to say, is this getting me as much value as I thought it was before I got it? And in that process, you will realize all the different value that you got from the card, how often you used it, how little you used it, and if it's worth it to you in your lifestyle, because lifestyles change, right? Like I had the Amex Green card, and that was a good card for a while. It was $95, and then it raised to a $150 annual fee. But then I moved down to South Carolina, and it didn't have as much value as I did in New York. So I canceled the card, and rightly so, right? And that was something I reevaluated. As soon as I realized that I wasn't flying that much, I probably should have just canceled the Platinum card. Got the welcome offer and moved on. Who knows? Even same could be said a little bit for the Amex Gold card, even though I value that a little bit higher. But probably that too, I probably could have, closed for a little bit, then got it, later on, what have you. So I think moral of this is like reevaluating your annual fees is a very good thing. And it's easy to let time go by and just kind of forget things over time. And just like, oh, I'll just pay it again, whatever. You just get used. It's almost like a subscription of Netflix. Like you don't watch Netflix, but you just have it on repeat and you just keep paying monthly until one day it just hits like, wait a second, let me break the cycle. The death cycle. Let me not pay for this anymore because I'm not actually watching anything on it. So same thing for these cards. It's like, if I'm not using the cards, why am I paying for it? It seems kind of simple, but I think we just tend to forget on the day-to-day life, these things are in the background and we are paying a dollar amount every single day to keep it open, right? $700 a year for a Platinum card, 365 days a year is like what? We paying $1.50 a day for it, right? Because a dollar would be $3.60. Yeah, even like $1.70 probably every single day holding this card open. $1.70 can get you, a Happy Meal every single day. It's a lot of money, so it has to be worth it to you in the end. So just reevaluating, I think, is an important thing. And lucky number 11, I actually have one more thing that I wanted to mention. And it's a mistake from this, actually, YouTube. Just talking to you guys and whoever listens over the last couple of years that I've been on YouTube. And I realized, like, I'm not in this game as long as some of the other folks. I know a lot of the information is way superior to mine, especially when I first started. Because even though when I first started on YouTube, I was in the game for 4 years, something like that, who knows. I had all these different cards. I had cards from 2019, I guess, to 2023 is when I started. or no, or even, yeah, 2022. And I realized at that time, especially not being so in it like I am now, where I see everything, I see all the news, I see all the different things, I watch all the videos, like 2 years of experience added just being on YouTube. I realized when I first started, I didn't have as much experience, or as much as I thought I had. And while some of the videos I made were good and they were well researched, there were some that I did on the fly, kind of like this, and some of the information wasn't fully thought out yet. And when you don't have full first-hand experience on all of it in the game, you kind of speak more shallowly about things, and you're unaware of everything you're unaware of. So a lot of the things that, not a lot of the things, but a good amount of things that I said in the past, starting this channel, talking to you guys, happen to be wrong, or just I overlooked things, or just things I forgot to mention, you know, like how are you supposed to know, like, oh, the Capital One 2 card rule? I just read it online and said, oh, it's a 2 card rule. Like, okay, so let me tell the people this is going to be valuable. Like, oh, you can only have 2 Capital One cards. But what I didn't know at that time was that rule, like, doesn't matter. And actually, almost until recently, I think more nuanced approach to it is only 2 of the same family, which they don't tell you. Like, oh, you can't have 3 Quicksilver cards. You can have 2 Quicksilvers, not 3. Which I still don't even know if that's true or not, but that's just kind of like the nuance that I'm hearing nowadays. But like little things like that, how would I have known because I didn't have an experience as much as I do now, where I'm listening to everybody in the comment sections who are in this video, in past videos, all the people in the community that are making videos every single day, like learning so much. So one of my mistakes is, you know, saying things without them being fully researched in the beginning. Nowadays, I'm a lot more careful, and I still get things wrong, and I'm always going to get things wrong because nobody's perfect. But I would like to be way more right over a longer period of time than wrong. And hopefully my batting average is good now. And if I am wrong, correct me, and then I will fix it and make sure it never happens again, because I care so much about this. Like, more than absolutely anything, I think about this every single day. And not only YouTube, but also the credit card game. So that's one of my other mistakes. Another mistake I had is, not hitting the subscribe button, baby. Sorry. In fact, I don't actually mention that enough, but you guys know we have a goal. We have a goal of 10,000 subscribers, and we'll go to the most dangerous hotel in the world. You guys want to see me scared, right? You want to see me, like, freak out, and maybe that's my last day on Earth. Maybe that's a good thing for you guys. Who knows? But, so if you want to see all of the mistakes I've ever made on my Amex Platinum card, and why I actually told you, like, I shouldn't have had this card as early as I did. It was a mistake of how early I got this card. If you want to see all of the reasons that I shouldn't have gotten it that early, check out this video next. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value from it, and it's a little bit funny. So, appreciate you guys for being here, and as always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you.